What's going on, guys? And welcome back to Footy with an Edge. We're here for episode 2 of the Staff Patters podcast. It's myself, Andy. Obviously, you guys know me, and my brother Rishi right here calling in from Mumbai. We have a lot to talk about, guys, because apparently a 30,000 subscriber channel has broken the Athletic. We've seen comments all across YouTube. People have been flying in from left and right, and 97%, 98% of people are agreeing with what I have to say. The other 2% that are friends and family of JJ Bull are disagreeing with what I have to say, because the video currently has 60,000 views, guys, and it has almost 6,000 likes as well. The views to likes ratio is off the charts. I think for most videos, like a 3 to 5% like ratio is something that's considered good. And this one has 10%. And so and over 1,000 comments as well. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful for your support, guys, because it means so much to me, right? I'm sitting in my room here, trying to fight the good fight in a way, and trying to make content that's entertaining for you guys. But looks like we've gone beyond entertainment with this one, because we're holding people accountable. And so many people resonated with what I had to say, and kind of what I did, including a comment by Statman Dave. Guys, do you understand how much it means to me when I make a video that includes stats and calls out somebody by because they're talking about the wrong stats for our club? And then I get a comment from Statman Dave himself. Like I think he's been on YouTube since 2015, and I think everyone who's a United fan has seen him, whether he works with the club directly or whether he's creating his own content on his own channel. So it's just very nice to see that I got recognition from him. And then moving on, yesterday I also got a 7-minute segment where Stretford Paddock discussed my video on the Paddock podcast. I honestly, I have no words to say, because it took me like 6 hours maybe to make that video, and I would have never thought that I would get this type of love and recognition from you guys. So I'm really grateful. But now that that's done, let's talk about why we're here today, because I want to talk about the story behind the video that I made, and the story behind sort of what's happened, the reaction and the outpour of support that I've gotten, and the outpour of hate that the Athletic has gotten on the back of that video, right? So Rishi, how are we feeling? First of all, let's hear from you quickly as well.
I must have seen your video maybe 20 or 30 times because it was just so surreal that someone was pulling apart the lies and just the bad analysis that is being spread about by a supposedly reputed publication like The Athletic, right? The journalists, the football analysts, they're expected to do better. And just the amount of comments that I've seen under it, people who've come out in support, and most of them saying that I knew that the Athletic was on a downhill, and
Yeah,
your analysis has just confirmed what we've all been thinking. So
yeah.
it's just overwhelming to just read it. And the JJ Bull video, the one he put out, it has 350,000 views and it has like 600 comments. Your video has 60,000 views and 1,000 comments. So just imagine how many people are excited by what you've said and how people want to get involved.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. It has so much to do with the narrative around United right now, right? And that brings us to our, I guess, our first talking point for the podcast today, which is what is wrong with the Athletic and its coverage of Man United. And obviously we're going to talk about the rest of the publications that are out there as well. I feel like so much of football YouTube has gotten used to just shitting on Man United because we've been bad for the last 2 or 3 years. It's hard for even them to recognize that they're being biased against us, even when we are actually decent, right? And it's easy to come out here after Liverpool have lost to us at Anfield, and say, oh, Ruben Amorim's doing a great job. And Jamie Carragher did the Monday Night Football analysis as well, where he's like, Ruben Amorim got his tactics spot on, and he's saying all these good things about him. This is the same guy that asked him to be sacked at least 3 different times now. right? Maybe even more than that. How is it that you're a terrible coach, a terrible club, a club that, makes all these players play their worst football they've ever played, and after they leave the club, they play their best football of their life? But when there's actual good underlying numbers, you still don't want to come out and say speak the truth, right? So even if you look at some of the other popular football channels like Saturday Social, the Overlap, even the betting companies that make these videos, I think Domino's is also making these like this fan content now. There's obviously Monday Night Football that we talked about, ESPN, ITV, all these publications just dump on United and hate on United. And I get the folks that are kind of not United fans, and are not really there to do objective analysis of our club, right? If it's another fan channel that's talking shit about United, guys, bring it on, right? We make fun of Twerkaz all the time. We make fun of Liverpool fans all the time. That's totally fine because we're a Manchester United channel. But when you're sitting there as an objective media outlet, right? What is the whole spiel of the Athletic? It is that they produce content that has no clickbait in it. There's no rage bait. You pay for a subscription and there's no ads either, right? So it's supposed to be no bullshit, high quality content. And when they first started, that's exactly what the Athletic was, right? I respect a lot of their journalists even today, but you've gotten into a position now where you're kind of just saying and doing whatever you want for views, and that's the problem. That's the problem at its core behind this Athletic video, and that's why I felt like this needed to be said. I actually have been thinking about this for a long time, but it just ended up being that I made this video now. And I feel like it hurts me when I see even ex players of our club who are supposedly diehard United fans, and I have no doubt that they are. They also get sucked into this bias, right? Because they're hearing 99% of the world around them also talking about how shit United are. And I don't think these guys are like the greatest tactical minds of our world, right? Like they have achieved enough in their life by playing amazing football. So I don't expect Paul Scholes and Gary Neville and Roy Keane to come and break down the stats like I did, but you can see how much the bias permeates the social consciousness of the football world when even those guys are just happy to bash United no matter what happens. Even when we see a good performance against Arsenal, the reaction is, "Oh, but did we win?" Right? And even when we draw against Fulham when we probably should have won that game, the reaction is, "Oh, were we good enough to get the win?" I don't think so. So that's the problem that we're seeing. There's a lot of bias that's leading to lazy analysis, that's leading to more bias, that's leading to more lazy analysis, and it had to stop. And I feel like so many people agree with me, and that's why the video did as well as it did.
Yeah, so first up, I want to wish all my Indian brothers a very happy Diwali. You must be hearing it on my side of the stream. There's crackers going off everywhere. So I apologize if you hear bangs in the background, but there's genuinely nothing I can do about it. We've delayed it as much as we could. But it's almost
Yeah.
11 p.m. in India right now, and it's going to go on for a while. So just bear with us this time.
Guys,
And
if,
happy
if
Diwali
Rishi
once
has
again.
any L takes, I'll mute him in the post. So don't worry. When I'm editing the show, I'll just
I
mute him.
don't work for the Athletic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyways, go on.
So it's just that there is this great desire to actually understand what's going on with Manchester United, right? It's this club that we follow, but unfortunately, the level of analysis is very basic. Most of the things that you would have heard before you came to, Footy with an Edge is stuff like, oh, the back three just doesn't work, or where's the midfield? There's no midfield. Bruno can't play midfield, which if we've seen the Liverpool game, he absolutely can, right? It's not like we don't criticize the club. We criticize the manager when he gets things wrong. We criticize players when they get things wrong. So it's not about defending the club. This video was actually a desire to uncover the truth. And this is what the expectation is from people like the Athletic and JJ Bull, right? When they come out with a piece of content, they're supposed to be unbiased. Of course, they're all in their individual lives, they're all fans of whichever clubs they support. But when you're doing a job and you're a journalist, which the Athletic is, it's a journalistic outlet, right? So they're supposed to be unbiased and they're supposed to uncover the truth. So whether this video, these two videos in question by the Athletic, whether they were lazy analysis, incompetence, or whether it was just plain malice for clicks and rage bait, whatever it was. It's not cool, and they needed to be held accountable for it. So it shouldn't be seen as like launching an attack at the Athletic. It should just be like, this is what Andy knows. He knows how to look at stats. He knows how to analyze play, and this is what he's doing. So he's using evidence to actually counter the claims. It's not like he fired a shot at them. It's just him correcting them. And throughout the video, he says many times that he's actually a big fan of the Athletic, right? And he says that he expects better from them. And that is what he expected when he came to see the video. Guys, you have to know that in those videos, right, the kind of comments that people have left, they've said, whoever in the background, there's one comment that says, whoever in the background fought for these kind of videos to be back, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that comment is 2.4K likes. So this is the level of trust
and that's on the JJ that's on the video that JJ Bull produced,
yeah,
where the main one that I criticized has this comment on it, right? So what Rishi's trying to say is basically people are taking what the Athletics say for fact, even though it's something that's shoddy analysis that literally took me like half an hour to go through and fact check some of his things, right? And the problem is a lot of the comments I got on my video as well is, oh, I saw that JJ Bull video and thought it was strange, but I didn't have the skill set that you do to go fact check their point. So I wasn't able to kind of make up my point. There's so many people that have come on and said that I was one of the people that was misled by the Athletic. Thank you for making this video, and now I know what the truth is. So the point isn't that somebody likes my face over JJ Bull's face. It's not about a personal thing. It's more that people are looking at the Athletic. These guys are paid journalists and paid analysts that are creating content that is getting, the two videos that I talked about in my video has 126,000 and 350,000 views, right? So we're talking about almost 500,000 views of people that are being misled, and it's just being taken as fact, right? It's like a bunch of flat earthers sitting there and saying, yeah, you know what? I've never seen past the ocean, so maybe there's nothing there. And we're just sitting here accepting what they're saying because there's nobody there to call them out except for my video.
Also, Andy, the interesting thing to note is how JJ Bull finishes that video. He asks the question, are Manchester United actually as bad as they look? And he says, yes, they are. Right? And that's a lie because they're not as bad as they look. So if he's making a claim as a journalist, anyone has the right to counter his claims and question his claims. So your video is just about that. It's him stating a lie, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and you're questioning it. It's a direct claim by him. So everyone deserves to be fact checked, right?
If this is JJ Bull posting a video on his personal channel, making commentary about United, go for it, dude. I have no problem with that. You are representing the Athletic. You are out there as an independent, unbiased source of analysis. And that's also why I get pissed at Jamie Carragher a lot of the times, because yes, he's a diehard Liverpool fan. All of us know he has the hatred in his eyes for this club because of what it's done to his career and his life. But he comes out there and talks so matter of fact as if, I don't have any bias. I don't have any agenda. And then he says a bunch of nonsense. Like he's called for Amarim to get sacked so many times now. And I just can't get behind that, right? So either you say you're a Liverpool fan and you're biased and you should take my opinion with a pinch of salt about Man United, or you say I'm unbiased and I'm here to educate the average fan, and most of them will be Man United fans because I'm talking about Man United, right? So that's kind of the whole point, right? This was I feel like in the whole like consciousness of football YouTube and social media football, people were already incensed about some of the things that were going on, right? That Sheshko article was definitely a big trigger point for a lot of people. And I want to clear this up just quickly, right? Maybe a minute on this. People are saying that was just an agent survey. It has nothing to do with the Athletic. Somebody explained to me why the survey ended in September, right, when the transfer window ended, because they would have asked them those questions then. And it took them almost 6 weeks to release the article. Why was it timed in a way that Sheshko scores 2 goals and then they release that, right? Back-to-back games, he scored 2 goals, and then they released that article. So if you're telling me they have no hand in this, then you don't know how interviewing works, because they're sitting there talking to these agents, asking them leading questions and getting responses, right? So every journalist can influence the subject that they're interviewing. It's not like, they're just sitting in a black box and they don't see anything around them. They're seeing a face, they're seeing a name, they're seeing the questions, the way they're asked, and maybe there's some suggestive stuff happening, right? Like maybe they're saying, "Oh, do you think Sheshko was a little too much money?" And then somebody says, "Yeah, probably." Right? So we need to appreciate the fact that the Athletic definitely timed this to get a lot of clicks, to get a lot of rage bait. And then following that, obviously, JJ's made this video around the same time and then made another video where he talks about the same point. And I feel like it was just time somebody had to come out and say something. It just happened to be me. It could be somebody else as well calling them out. So I'm glad you guys appreciated it, but it's not about me. It's not about JJ Bull. It's about the fact that there's a lot of garbage going around in the media about United, and that's where the frustration comes from. So Rishi, I think there's an interesting angle about this that we haven't covered yet, which is football fans and their mental health, right? Because there's a few people that have been saying, even on Reddit and things like that, like, oh, why do you care so much about one video that the Athletic has made? Just let it go. Or Man United fans are crying about bias against them, wham, 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 right? Can you
Yeah.
touch on why it's so important that we called out this video from a perspective of just football fans' mental health? Because we've just been through the most positive addition to our mental health that we've had in a long time, which is beating Liverpool at Anfield.
So, as a football fan, I think anyone who's watching this can identify with this. Your identity and your mental health is, fortunately or unfortunately, it is entwined with your team's performance, right? Your team does well, your entire week is like sunshine and rainbows. And if your team does poorly and loses an important game, the players don't put in a shift and you feel terrible, right? You don't go on YouTube, you don't follow any conversations because everyone is just shitting on your club, right? And it feels terrible. And the thing to note here is, as people who work closely with footballers and who are involved in football, people like the Athletic, the entire staff, they're fans themselves. They know what it is, right? When they're putting out an article, they know exactly how it's going to be received. They know how people are going to feel about their club, right? Someone is it's a take that's shitting on your club. You're going to feel bad, and it's not just restricted to United. It's universal. If anyone is doing a hit job on your team, you're probably going to be influenced and feel like, oh my god, my team is terrible. Or B, you're going to be like, oh, my team is really crap. Everyone is taking a dump on them. What the hell is going on? Why can't these players do better? So your mental health is very closely tied to the performance of your team and what the conversation on social media is about your team. So it's about holding these people responsible, right? People who are saying, when there is enough evidence on hand that your team is actually doing good, that United is actually performing well, the underlying numbers are positive, and that those facts are being represented in a wrong manner or misrepresented. It's about calling these people out, and it's also about kind of fighting back for the sake of everyone's mental health. It's about giving the voice to a people who feel dejected about their club, even when people like the Athletic are supposed to show them that no, actually don't be so disheartened. Your team is actually doing good. Hold on. Maybe the results will start catching up to the underlying numbers. That is the job of the Athletic if they call
Yeah.
themselves an unbiased sports organization.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rishi. What I want to bring up is that people need to realize that this is akin to gaslighting, right? Because a lot of these fans are watching the club doing decent, right? We're we have a lot of shots in games. We're not shooting from distance. We are creating some good stuff, and we're missing those chances. And then someone like JJ Bull comes along and says, "We're shooting from distance. We're not creating a lot of good chances, and the problem isn't finishing." So it is gaslighting, right? You're sitting there and you're saying, "Oh, this guy is much more educated in terms of football than me. He's much more respected in terms of his journalism, his analysis. So maybe what I'm looking at is wrong, and he has the correct picture of reality." When the truth is that he is just not putting in the effort, the bare minimum effort required to get 350,000 views on YouTube, and then in the other video get another 150,000 views, right? So for 500,000 views, guys, these guys haven't even put enough effort as much as I did in my 60,000 view video. And that's the problem right there. It starts affecting your mental health because you're seeing from all angles of society, everybody's telling you. And by the way, guys, every single United fan has a Liverpool fan in their life, has an Arsenal fan in their life, has a Tottenham fan in their life, right? And all of those guys are roasting them in person as well. So when they're going to the office after we've had a bad loss to Brentford and somebody comes out and says that, oh, you guys deserve to get 3 put on you, shit club, like how the great have fallen, blah, blah, blah. I think, deep within you, you should at least have the ability to come and say, you know what, actually, if Bruno scores that penalty and we get the red card, we could have probably won that game and we probably should have at least gotten a draw. Right. But
So it's a
instead, it's
case
just
of
piling on. Right.
it's a case of damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? Like when we lost to Arsenal, the XG argument was not valid. And now that we beat Liverpool, the XG argument is valid for Liverpool. How was it not valid for us in the first game of the season? Right? Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah.
So it's like you're being bombarded as a United fan from all bases, right? It was fair enough when we were actually shit, but now that we are turning a corner, at least give us the props, give Amarim the props. That man has faced so much abuse, but not once has he come after a game and made excuses.
Speaking of mental health, by the way, speaking of mental health, like a penny for Ruben Amorim's mental health. He's getting sandwiched like from 5 different directions by everybody, and even someone like me who understands, who takes the time to go through the tactics and stats and all that, is almost conned into believing maybe this guy isn't good enough, right? I mean, we've all had that thought at least once because so many people say it. And it's not like we have a situation like Tottenham where they were winning games, they beat City, and now what, they've had 3 draws and 2 losses in their last 5 games, I think, but their underlying numbers have been crap. So it's not a situation where United was like, second in the league and the Athletic came out and said, no, actually, they're doing worse than you think they are. That would be something that I would expect. But when it's the opposite, like when we're like 9th or 11th and we should be doing better than we are, but you're saying, no, you're actually as shit as you think you are, that's not good, right? We can't let that happen. Anyways, Rishi, I want to maybe take some of the viewers through the absolute meltdown that happened on the R Red Devils subreddit, which is I think the Athletic has officially partnered with that subreddit. So the moderators are, I don't know if they're in their pockets or not. I don't know if you can define it that way. But it was a very interesting thing because we got a comment on my JJ Bull takedown video where somebody said that people are melting down on the subreddit. You guys should go check it out. So we did check it out, and we have some screenshots here to walk you guys through the journey. Yeah, so here we have one of the first screenshots, and this guy is a legend right here, Tatya. He essentially posted he created a post of my video and essentially wanted a response from the Athletic because they're obviously part of this subreddit, and he wanted just to see what other people have to think as well, because as we all know, like Reddit is kind of the place where things kind of blow up and go viral. And essentially they kept taking the post out. I think there were more than 20 posts that were made on Reddit the day my video came out and it started taking some traction. So they just kept taking down like 20 plus posts of this video, and it was insanely annoying to see because I thought the Athletic, again, has journalistic integrity and they would welcome critique of their articles and they would welcome critique of the work that they've done, but looks like they're not. And Rishi, if you want to take us through this next one here.
A lot of people kept saying, and Tatya was the first one, but after him, a lot of people kept trying to post the video that you had made, and they kept being deleted within a minute. And none of them gave a good explanation of why they were being deleted, right? So people are asking them, what's going on? Can the mods please explain? People asked them personally, messaged them. There was no response initially. So when Tatya posted and the first 15 or so people posted, there was no response. And eventually I went in and I tried to post it. And we'll get back to the response that I got.
There were a few people on Reddit that were trying to defend the Athletic and trying to say that my video was too crass or whatever. But you guys have all seen the video, man. I'm not taking personal attacks at JJ Bull. I literally said it's either lazy or it's a bias against United. You have to say it's one of the two because there's no other option, and they should be doing better. So these guys, I mean, they were just being a little butthurt about the thumbnail, maybe. But again, what am I supposed to do about that? He was bullshitting about United. That's the point. And look at this one here too. They say, why are you guys taking down videos that have been criticized, that are criticizing the Athletic, and 90% upvotes on all of them. And then right here as well, Upset Koala Bear. He says title specifically states what happened, that they misled viewers. There was no editorialization of it. The majority of the content discussed the statistical errors they made, just like I said. If you consider that title clickbait, then almost every Athletic article that gets posted here is clickbait because most of them are questions like how will XYZ fit into United or who is the next XYZ. Then he links a post here, which is literally the JJ Bull video that I called out in my video, right? So we say, are Manchester United as bad as people think? And so on the one side, our Red Devils wants to allow posts like this. On the other side, they're saying my post is not allowed because I'm having an opinion on something. So make it make sense, right? I mean, even here it says, based on the explanation and reasoning, what rule does the post fall foul of, and what will be the reasoning for removing it this time? And Rishi, walk us through the response here.
Yeah, so the response that they gave is that people keep posting it with editorialized comments in the body of the post, and we've repeatedly asked people not to do that under whatever rule. But some people got an explanation that please give a concise explanation of what is going on in this video so that we may allow it to be posted. So it's like, damned if you do and damned if you don't, because they're just coming out and pulling whatever reasons they want out of their ass, because you can't have it both ways. You can't say that give us a concise explanation of what's going on in this video, what is it about, and then on the other hand, you can't say that people keep posting it with editorialized comments, and that's why we've asked them to take it off. And they say that also on a more basic level, the original video wasn't allowed to be posted to the sub. This one is a reaction to the video that wasn't allowed to be posted. It doesn't make much sense to have this if we are not going to allow the original. But as we just saw, Andy, can you take them back again? They did allow that post. They did allow that post. So what are they talking about?
Yeah, so on the one hand, they're saying this one wasn't allowed. That's why we're not allowing the other one. But then the explanation they're giving for why they're banning my video is that they didn't allow the first one. So it just doesn't make sense. It's very inconsistent. And let's be honest, guys. When the moderators are behaving like that, whether they've gotten a direct message from the Athletic to keep taking my video down or not, when they're behaving like that, they've probably seen the video themselves and realized, holy crap, JJ Bull has screwed up big time. And what this guy is saying is actually right. So the only thing we can do is try to censor that guy. Right. So this is censorship at its finest. I mean, I would think that a journalistic organization like the Athletic would be democratic in its nature, right? That they would believe in free speech. What the hell is this? Right? Someone explain to me how this is free speech when you keep taking down my video on Reddit that people want to share, by the way. This is not me sharing this. These are all different usernames. So unless you think I'm content farming my own content, this isn't me. And I got somebody else told me about this and I was just laughing my ass off reading all of this.
Yeah.
But if we keep moving on.
So now we have user Cam3Rats over here. He says the Tifo guys are allowed to have their videos on our sub. So why is the video criticizing them being deleted? I don't think not United related is a real reason, because it is related to us, seeing as the Tifo guys say all kinds of shit about us that sometimes is outright false. So you have another user directly calling out the Tifo and the Athletic people. Also, this not United related thing that they've mentioned here is one of the reasons that people kept getting that this post is not related to United. That's why we are taking it off. And this person directly countering that Tifo guys are allowed to have their videos on the sub. So why is a video countering their claims not allowed here?
And it's right? such a weak reason, guys. When you're saying that I've made a video criticizing JJ Bull and the Athletic about their coverage of Manchester United, and they're saying that my video is not Man United related, when I'm a Man United fan channel, and these guys are clearly talking about Man United, and the whole discussion is about Man United. So make it make sense.
So UTDS9 says it's being taken down because this sub that is the mods, are being paid to allow posts from them here, that is posts from Tifo and the Athletic, them being allowed to be called out for creating a false narrative or really borderline lying would jeopardize that. This is censorship to cover it up. And
Yeah.
you know what, Andy, what you said about them being in cahoots with the Athletic, it makes sense, right? Because if there are, I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore, really. Big media is actually trying to, kind of trying to contain and control the narrative everywhere. And they go out to places like Reddit and they are on social media all the time. You have people having bots in YouTube comments. They're trying to control the narrative and kind of push the discussion in one way. Why wouldn't they be in cahoots with the subs or the moderators on Reddit? Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It could be just the. It could also. I mean, it could also be the mods being over enthusiastic. I mean, come on, it's Reddit, right? Only the over enthusiastic become mods, and sort of the power goes to their head. So they start making these decisions on their own based on what they think is right or wrong, which is also not what mods are supposed to do. Like if you look at our Manchester United, they allowed your post to stay up. Like someone posted, cross posted on their
yeah, it's
yeah,
this one
this
right
one,
here.
yeah. So they allowed this to be posted, and shout out to their mod, you North by Fjord, very cool guy.
It's right
I
here.
messaged him. Yeah, so he just basically said that most of the stuff that comes up, they, unless it's like spam or it's completely unrelated to Red Devils, they usually keep it up. You If you can scroll down, you will see that, yeah, if it's, unless it's non-informative or not related to United, they will keep it up. And they have no idea why the our Red Devils mods removed it, but he can't comment further on their part.
I think it's interesting that the Manchester United subreddit thought that my video was Man United related, but the R Red Devils subreddit or the mods there didn't think it was Man United related. So, guys, I mean, it's clear, right? It's censorship at its best, and people are just afraid of what it might do. But it makes no sense because it's still up on YouTube. They can't really take it down off YouTube. And since all of this stuff has happened, I think the video has gotten like 30, 40,000 more views because this happened like a couple of days ago. But there's other people that are saying like they should delete the Ange Postecoglou sacking post as well because it's not relevant to the sub, which makes sense, right? What are we doing on our Red Devils talking about Postecoglou getting sacked? Or rather, how is that more relevant than what I said in my video? Last one, Tatya, he's a goat, by the way, because he kept trying to battle with the Reddit mods on
He
this.
kept fighting the fight. He was all over Reddit. He was all over Reddit. Props to
Yeah.
Tatya, dude, wherever you are.
And he says, okay, I posted the same analysis with pictures, also deleted. I didn't use any names. Explain how that is irresponsible, right? So this guy went up and said a certain journalistic organization has been criticized by a certain small YouTube channel talking about a certain topic, something like that, right? A very vague topic. And they still deleted it because they knew what he was talking about, right? So there's a lot of censorship, guys. And honestly, the Athletic, in all of this, everything you could have done to make the situation better, you have done the opposite. And honestly, you could do better. All you had to do is maybe come out and say, just put out a tweet saying, we've seen what's going on around social media. And we made some mistakes with our stats or something like that, right? That's what I would have done. If you want to come call me out about a mistake I've made, I'll just apologize right away because I'm not going to get it right every single time. And it's foolish to expect me to get it right every single time. Rishi,
And
I
Andy,
want to close.
also,
Yeah, go for it.
another important thing to note is, they're a big channel and you're a much smaller channel. You thought that they were doing something wrong, and you called them out. There could be someone who's just starting out, who has like 1,000 subscribers, and he comes out and he sees one of your videos and he says, "No, I disagree with Andy." And he would be fair enough to, fair play to him. If he's got a point or he doesn't have a point, he's absolutely allowed to do it. What's the
Yeah.
question of harming someone's mental health? Like, I don't believe JJ Bull is sat in his butt up with a glass of wine thinking, oh my god, why did this person try and attack me or whatever. If you can pull up that last screenshot, there's something very interesting which is said there, which I think calls out all the naysayers and all the people who are saying you were wrong, to to call JJ out. He says, let the video stay up and let people call out that video. Let's have a discussion where both sides of the view are posted. It's kind of bizarre how we have seen stuff far worse and far more vitriolic against public figures, even Ratcliffe, ex-managers, Glazers, Amorim. Do you remember there was a time when people attacked Ed Woodward's house? People have been that vitriolic and that vengeful, but a video criticizing the Athletic is apparently where we draw the line for censorship. There is no more damning a line than this one.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. And guys, get in the comments with your thoughts, right? If you guys are still here with us in this podcast, get in the comments with your thoughts. I seriously want to hear how you feel about all of this, all of this kind of back and forth that's happening, right, with the Athletic censoring any chance they can get of sort of stopping my video from going more viral than it already did. And Rishi, I want to close it off with a final point. You mentioned JJ Bull a second ago. I want to make it clear, guys, that this is not a personal attack on JJ Bull. It just happened to be that he was making the video that day. I think these guys have topics, right? They have a producer for their channel. They have topics, and they decide one day John McKenzie will make the video, one day JJ Bull will make the video, and so on and so forth. So it could have easily been someone else from that Athletic roster or the T4 roster that Athletic purchased, I believe. It could have easily been any one of them. So it's not an attack on JJ Bull. Is it unfortunate that his last name is Bull and I used it on the thumbnail? Maybe a little bit, but again, that was not I didn't name him, right? So he was bullshitting, so I called him out for it. It's purely just criticizing the work he has done. He is a professional. It's akin to criticizing a football player. They get paid to play football. We watch that as the viewers, and we criticize it because it's not good enough. It's the exact same with JJ Bull, right? And listen, I've heard other people say that, oh, they have a stats team that's giving the stats over to JJ Bull and he's just saying them out loud. Guys, that's a weak ass defense of JJ Bull, because what are you talking about, man? He's a football analyst himself. If there are stats that are purely wrong, and he's looking at the graphic that he's made as well, where they've made these like 7 boxes inside the 6-yard box to showcase the percentages being less than they are, and this massive box at the end showing the 25%. Like, you don't need to be a statistical expert in that. You just need to have common sense and a real person to understand that that's wrong. So don't give me that shit. This is clearly not good enough from JJ Bull, clearly not good enough from the Athletic, and that's all it is. That's where it starts and stops.
Also, most importantly, you have to remember that everyone agrees that JJ has been doing a terrible job. You go to the comments of his original 2 videos that he's put up, recent comments, everyone saying that, yeah, he's a lot of people saying that he's done a bad job or he's just misinterpreting stats, right? How is it wrong to call out someone doing a bad job? And the only reason I can think is on a human level, people feel bad for JJ that he's been called out. I've heard some of those comments, like it's going to attract some hate for JJ or whatever. Guys, he's a public figure in the public domain. His work is viewed by millions of people, right? He's a presenter for probably one of the biggest private podcasts and the biggest private football or sports news agencies out there. And if you feel bad for him on a human level, imagine the hundreds of thousands of people who have seen his work and their mental health has been affected because they're like, gosh, my team is really crap. If JJ Bull, a respected journalist, is saying that my team is bad, it means that we actually are pathetic. Oh, when are we going to improve? Oh, when are we going to win a title? Is my friend who's a Liverpool fan going to shit on me when I go to work after this weekend's game? So what about the mental health of people that's being affected after he has put out this video? At the end of the video, I already said this, he asked the question, are Manchester United actually as bad as people think? And he says, yes, they are. And then he goes, but it might work. I don't know. It might work. What? If that was your point, that it might work, why didn't you just hand it in totally? Like, why are you an analyst? Why didn't you just hang an end slate that says, okay, Manchester United are bad, but it might work. And if you're saying it might work, where is the overwhelming evidence that it might work?
Do I think it was malicious from JJ? to make the video that he did and make the points that he did. I think it's just lazy, guys. It's shoddy analysis. It's all, hey, football is not really a complex game. We're just here to have some fun. And they seem to be having a lot of fun on camera, guys, at United's expense, and that's the problem that I have. Listen, you can joke and laugh all you want. We make fun of Liverpool on this channel a lot. You guys have seen my 2 videos covering the Liverpool game. I've called Van Dijk Twerkez like 50 times, right? And he deserves it because we're rivals, and I want to make fun of him because people are saying he's the best center back since sliced bread, and I don't agree with that at all, right? There's so many examples of him having terrible games, and nobody seems to talk about it. So listen, that's what we wanted to talk about today, guys. I feel like a load has been lifted off both our shoulders because actually the comments on the videos have been very positive, but I feel like it's important to kind of see the story behind the video and why I came up with it and why sort of it was important and why most importantly it's gotten the reaction it has gotten right now, because it was timed to perfection in the sense that everybody was fed up with the nonsense bias in the media. And that's what we are here to call out. And if it happens again, it's already happening again. So maybe there'll be another video coming out soon, but more on that later. We need to call it out, right? We need to hold them to account. And I feel like this video has done that. And that's it, right? So I don't want any personal abuse towards JJ. I mean nothing to JJ. In fact, if JJ ever wants to come have a conversation with me on the channel, he's more than welcome to do so, and I'm happy to discuss it with him. Rishi, your closing thoughts before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I've been a paying subscriber of the Athletic, so it pains me so much that this is the level that they've fallen to, right? I absolutely love the talk of the Devils guys. Carl Anka, brilliant analyst, great insight into the club. Laurie Whitwell has very good connections inside the club. So he's really the connection between us and the workings of the club, right? So many of his articles have been really good. Andy Mitten, a goat of the fan base, been doing the fanzine for ages now. So the entire bunch, right? The Athletic are really likable people as people, right? It's just that certain segments of their analyst base, they haven't been doing the best job, and even as an editorial policy, they've resorted to being what they were supposed to be the antithesis of. So that's really let's say the disappointing and the hopeful part, because there's still time left for them. They could actually come back and start doing the kind of content that got them this huge following, and maybe get back to the glory days, because no one would be happier than me and you. I'm sure you would love, because we consume so much content that we would love to be educated. We would love to learn more about the club. We would love to learn more about Amarim's system, right? So yeah, it's just fingers crossed, right? And hopeful that the Athletic actually takes notice of this, and not just what you said, Andy, not just your video. If you go into the comments, everyone is overwhelmingly saying that the Athletic has lost its edge. So, it's not just a bunch of people on YouTube, it's the entire fan base that is asking you to wake up and smell the coffee, and do a better job. We expect the best from you.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Rishi. I think this was a great call, a great podcast. And thank you guys so much for watching, man. This is episode 2. Much more to come. We might even do another episode this week. Maybe this was a special episode. So stay tuned, guys, and stay tuned for a lot more content on the channel. Guys, we are live every Monday and Thursday for a call-in show where I listen to your guys' opinions. So make sure you tune into that every Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 p.m. UK. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.